There were no Fulani controlling anywhere until the jihad of 1800s that saw to the slaughter and the killings of majority of the today's northern Nigeria's, tribes and ethnic nationalities, especially the Hausas. Right? But these guys who have managed over the time through politics as well, okay, so now start calling themselves Hausa Fulani. There was nothing like that. Okay? So there was never any emirate, any emir of 1,000 years. Bullshit. There was no sultan. There was no sultan until 1820s. And it was after the death of Efodio. He rejected the offer because he was supposed to be like a Emir teacher. He was a teacher, Quranic teacher, that planned a jihad and killed all his hosts, all their leaders, everyone. And they call it the jihad for Allah because the people were not following the pathway of Allah. There was no 1,000 years old emir. Tell your children that. That's nonsense. Absolute nonsense. And that's why you're having all this confusion. Identity crisis. So everybody just hide under one, what do you call it? Their northern version of Islam. They just hide behind it. And see, well, since we are all Islam, we are the same thing. No, you're not. No, you're not. And that's why you are confused. Now, let's go see. The Bayero people, too, they have something to say, according to courts. Listen.
Because these things can be subject to multiple interpretation. But as people in the know, you have access to the final document. What's your position?
Well, first of all, I don't think it is correct to say that, there's any contradiction or any misunderstanding in the law. The judgment, or the ruling rather, of the Federal High Court given yesterday was very clear. In fact, the certified true copy of that ruling is currently going round on the social media and what have you. And it is clear that the first order given by that court is that all actions taken pursuant to the 2024 Kano State Emirate repeal law are set aside, and that the second order was that does not affect the validity or invalidity of the law made because it is a subject of the substantive suit which is still pending before the court. So there's currently no final judgment on the validity of that law made in Kano State. It is still being contended, although proceedings have been stayed. So it is not correct, with all due respect, and we have a duty to tell people what is the truth, what is the true position. It is there, everybody can verify that is not the position of the law, first of all. Secondly, the courts also have power, in spite of the doctrine of separation of powers, as said by the Sanusi Bature, who is somebody I respect. Courts of law in Nigeria have the power, in spite of that line of separation of powers, to also come in and say, okay, so action done by the executive or so action done by the legislators is not correct or should be suspended or should be stayed. And this is clearly what this Honorable Court said, whether rightly or wrongly, and whether the Federal High Court has jurisdiction or not. The court was very clear on the 23rd day of May when it said that all parties before the court, and these parties include the Kano State government, all parties were asked and directed and ordered by the court to maintain status quo ante bellum. What this means is that they should maintain the state of affairs as they existed before the passage and assent of that law. What this means was that before that law was passed and assented to by the governor, we have 5 emirates in Kano State, and the Federal High Court now said everybody should go back to that state of affairs. That's what it means, what literally, maintenance of status quo ante bellum implies. So there's a duty on the government of Kano State and the governor of Kano State and all the stakeholders to ensure that the orders of the court are maintained. It is not correct, in my own humble opinion, that there's any misinterpretation or there's any quagmire or any confusion. These orders of court are clear, they are out there for all to verify, and there's a duty on all persons and authority throughout the Federal Republic of Nigeria to respect orders of court.
So,
Section
Mr. Ekima,
287 of the Constitution of Nigeria is clear that all persons in Nigeria, all authorities must respect orders of court.
all right,
That is the only way we can have a democracy. That's the only way we can have a system.
All right. Mr.
If people
Mr.
of
Ekima, if I may
authority,
button,
and
sir.
authority decide to,
If you can hear me, if I may button, because of time.
disrespect orders of court or flout orders of court, we can't have a system.
Okay, if I may button, you're the lawyer, so you help us out here. So, based on what you said, because there are two follow-up questions I want to ask before I go to Mr. Bature. Based on what you said, by your own judicial understanding of the law, who is the Emir of Kano in the eye of the law right now?
In the eyes of the law, the Emir of Kano is Aminu Ado Bayero, because the law, portion to which Emir Sanusi was appointed, has been put in abeyance by the Federal High Court. The court says yesterday, all actions taken pursuant to the 2024 law, one of which is the appointment of Emir Sanusi, have been set aside. The court has clearly said that. That's order number 1 given yesterday. And even before that,
all right. My apologies.
Court,
I'm trying to crunch in as much.
Of May,
my sincere apologies, sir.
Sorry for that, the quality of that video, by the way. And Sekou, thank you very much, Jare, for coming to my defense there too. I think a lot of people do know, except those who have believed the lies for so long. You know, that's actually one of the problems we are facing. It is not that people are not reformable. Okay? We can reform people, we can enlighten people. Listen to me. The major problem we have is that a lot of people have believed so many lies for so many years. It is actually part of what makes their being and their existence. So to tell them that what they have believed all their life is a lie, man, is going to be it has been a difficult one for so many people, because they always have reason to say no. But if people are able to just get reformatted, reconfigured, to understand that many of the things you believe about Nigeria, many of them are lies. And they were not just lies that were just like innocent lies. They were orchestrated, well-plotted lies that they embedded in generations, including me. Now, I'm a rebel. People like you listen to Mayegun. You are considered as a rebel. You are considered as rebels. Oh, you said they listen to that boy. Oh, I think you are listening to Mayegun. It's like you are watching Mayegun, Abi. You better stop listening to that guy. We are the rebels. We are the ones we are those who are questioning everything and discovering all the lies. The more we discover, the angrier we become. We are still disorganized, unfortunately. Yeah, we are still disorganized. We haven't really made up that critical mass. But we will. We will. The curiosity of a lot of people these days have gotten them to ask more and more and more questions. And the more they ask questions and they are not getting answers, the more questions they are asking. But finally, they are discovering the problems, really. The majority of this problem won't be problems if all of us have rejected if all of us have somehow opted out of the social conditioning sort of that they have put us right from our childhood. It's all there. The fear and other stuff, you know? So a lot of us are already beating that. And there are many of us who are angry, but unable to channel that energy positively to turn things around. We will also get to that too. So there is a reason why they don't want you to know the history. Listen, you are hearing that of Kano now, Abi. In the next few days, you are going to hear that of Sokoto. I didn't know. You know that their Sultan of Sokoto, is the leader of all Muslims in Nigeria. Like if you are a Muslim, Emir of Sokoto is like your Pope. Do you know that? I'm sorry, I said Emir. Sultan of Sokoto. He's like your Pope. Okay, I don't want to stress it, all right? But there's a problem coming. The political class in Sokoto, I didn't know this before, that the Emir of Sokoto is so, why am I saying Emir of Sokoto? Sultan of Sokoto, Sultan. So their sultan is so powerful that I don't know anywhere else. So it seems to be the only religious head and at the same time traditional ruler that can punish all other traditional rulers in Sokoto state. He can remove any other emirs or whatever from Sokoto. Yeah, it doesn't need any government approval or any government this. He can summon any of them. He can punish them. It's like an erujeje for real. I didn't know that. So the political class are going for them too. There is a bill being sponsored by the governor of Sokoto right now to take that power away from him. Why would he have such power? So you are going to hear you're going to hear the alarm soon. I just thought I should, bring you to, a quick update on that. The political class in Nigeria are running mad, and the supposed traditional rulers who were supposed to be the closest to their people, who then turned around to become the enemies of their people by backing the criminals that are denying their people security, denying them education, denying them access to health care, denying them to a better standard of living for real. Why they are parading the wealth they got from the criminal politicians and the lands of their people they are selling. That's something. Once you become a king, you can easily become rich by just selling lands of your people. There are many of them. There is one called Emir of Iwo, the way that smoke banner one day, and he said, Iwo Yoruba Lando is no longer, it's no longer a traditional land in Yoruba land. Therefore, all the traditionalists, all the aborishas, all of them, oh yeah, I don't want to see them anymore in the palace. Oh, I swear. Person who became king, supposedly through traditional means. A complete criminal. You know his story from Canada to Nigeria. Yeah? He is a king in Nigeria, and an abomination, so to say. But that's how much they have already desecrated that kind of institution in Nigeria. It is just an extension of the civil service in Nigeria. Therefore, you can no longer look at your king and say, we want our king to act. They don't burn your king where to say, he will order any governor to come around when election is not coming. They lulu yourself a lot. Institution that has been so desecrated, ruined, and is turned against you. But you are still reading that our old history that spoke about our old fathers, ancestors. And then the Nollywood Yoruba that continues to show to you àwọn akíkanjú ogun alágbára ogun ọba oríṣiríṣi ọba tó. But you are watching these rogues desecrate that same stool. They are doing it right before you. If election no dey come, they no burn your first class oba, say, in dey angry, call. He come order the governor. See me before 10 p.m. or else you will not be governor. You know that's not possible, right? So what is that delusion about them in the first place? Of having them in the first place or keeping them in the first place? Just like every other institution in Nigeria. It's all desecrated and ruined. And come on. So yes, I am looking forward to that of Sokoto very soon. Alarm go blow soon. But while we were coming back from Kano, and so we saw Atifku's convoy pass. Who be that? They say Atifku. When they go Daura do waiting, they won't go see Bokwari. Somehow there is an impression that the northern Nigeria, they are upset with Tifnumbu. There is this kind of belief. I don't know if you believe that too. Okay. So this is where the advice I gave from the beginning of this chart, right? I'm going to repeat it. Since I do not have that magical power to control you and, control your mind. I wish I have that kind of power so that I can save millions of you. Once you come across my video like this, just quickly take over your mind, and the likes of the rotten criminal hawks or sharks or jackals, hyenas that are grouping again over your destiny inside that contraption won't be able to deceive you into joining them in validating whatever they are cooking. So I think going to Bukwari, what the hell? What was that going to be? It's a great political move. Tifnumbu is going to be a one-term president. And therefore, Atiku and Bukwari are going. Do you know, by the way, that Bukwari never wanted Tifnumbu? But because Bukwari, an incompetent mannequin, is not competent in anything. No. Those who popped Bukwari on, they popped him on because it worked for them. It gave them. Bukwari was like a master key to the Nigeria treasury. And they accessed it. They emptied it. All of Nafilam. Abi? So same thing around those who are around Tifnumbu too. Those ones are even worse, but we're coming back to that. Bukwari, except for his cows, and then tell him the Igbos are coming. Those two things will get him up and keep him up awake all night. That's Bukwari. Everything else, his cows include the Fulani, the Fulani terrorists too. That will keep him up. They have arrested the Fulani terrorist in Abeokuta. What? How dare them arrest my cow? Then Bukwari will be up all night. Anything else, you are on your own, and you all know that. They did everything. They sold the idea of Robert Stamp Lawan as his successor, and he bought it. They were popping him on, pushing him on. So when that didn't work, then it was like, maybe we should just use a Mefiole to stop him. Don't pretend that you didn't know all of this. So, in fact, some of you actually came out at the time and said, Bukwari only pretended that he didn't support Tifnumbu. I understand if that's your theory, okay? I don't want to make you, right, feel bad, okay? But the evidence available was that if Bukwari and his gang got their ways, Tifnumbu will be your president. I mean, you remember how they were begging him to come and attend Tifnumbu's rally too, right? Okay. So Emefiole, who is now the one that they have thrown under the bus, right? So Tifnumbu, by the time Bukwari and his gang would realize the type of Pablo Escobar that they were dealing with, it was too late. To the point that even Tifnumbu, Bukwari's wife, was also converted to join the Tifnumbu's gang. No joke. So Bukwari is a useless thing, generally. But somehow, I have started seeing reactions like when you saw Peter Obi meeting at Tifku. And they were like, this combination is going to. So I've started seeing reactions too, especially the articulators, the articulated mugus, the articulated mofos, the articulated, somebody said, the articulated morons. They were everywhere, the SPV boys. Atiku has met with Bukwari. Which Bukwari? Which one? The same one. Anyway, let's go there and check. In case if you haven't seen him in a while, here is Atiku and Bukwari, and they are cooking. They say cooking.
Please, pause. There's one from this side. You should wait first. You should wait first.
Okay, bari na je.
Oh, Tifnubu should be shaking right now. I'm talking about the voluntary slaves from all sides right now. They're like banting themselves. Oh, more. What's it they call him again? What's it they call Tifku again? No. Waziri Atamagwa. More. 2027. Atiku will be 83 years old in 2027. 83. And you see those who are in their 20s, 30s. But those who are in their 30s, no real life achievement, no real nothing. But somehow, they are clinging their hope on those guys. And I was been seeing them everywhere. And that kind of just took me back. It kind of take me back to when Doyo Kugbe was also, right, a convicted criminal. You know, say Doyo Kugbe was convicted to 2 years for money laundering. And he was given an option of fine. Pay 13 million naira for stealing 6.7 billion naira. Yeah, Okugbe was kind of tried for stealing 6.7 billion. And the court jailed him for 2 years when he was the chairman of Peter Obi's Presidential Campaign Council. Remember? That was why they quickly sacked him from there and removed him. And they put Oshuntoku to complete the task. Remember? Yeah, he's an ex-convict. Okugbe. But at the time, a lot of us who were seeing, they were like, you know, today a lot of people are so disappointed. But how could young people or any sane person somehow see through the rogues who have actually contributed to the destruction of Nigeria, thieves, suddenly become godly? And today, majority of the obedient, if they see Okugbe one-on-one, it will be like that of Apampas and others. I'm coming back to that too. Yeah? How many of you remember this? By popular demand, though, one true emperor has been asking for this. Let's start with this one.
Today, by his grace, I am the Director General of the Obi Dati Campaign Organization. In that capacity, I have power and authority to run the affairs of this campaign. But today, publicly, I surrender all that power and authority to the God Almighty. Father, Lord, neither me, nor Peter Obi, nor Obi Dati, nor your children here gathered know where, how to get to where we want to get to. But you are the all-wise God. You are the omnipotent God. We are like but David before this Goliath. But we will, with your mercy and support, we shall conquer. This is our very first public gathering. You say if we acknowledge you in all our ways, whatever we want, you will do it. Father, this day, as the Director General, I act in office and capacity of that office, and I say, we give it all to you. Guide us. They deride us. They mock us. We are small in their eyes, but yet we are big in your hands. With you, we know we are going to win. Because we are not going to do it by our strength, by our money, or by our influence. Some of them, if they win, they will only acknowledge money because it's their money that will have given them the victory. Some of them, if they win, they will say it's because of their long standing in politics and the people they know and their leverage. But if we win, the whole world knows only you, God. Only you, God, could have done it. And we will give you the glory. Glory be to your name. For in the name of the Creator of heaven and earth, I have prayed.
Is God not so patient? That's what people will say. Like, oh my God, get patience. So, hi. If God be man, some of us we go just disappear. Like they don't need to explain to anybody. They say, where is so person? Say, I don't